The Charlotte Ledger Podcast is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network.
Hey, it's Tony Mecia with the Charlotte Ledger, and you're listening to the Charlotte Ledger Podcast. Check out thecharlotteledger.com. That's where you'll find more information about the Charlotte Ledger, and you can sign up for our newsletters, which are aimed at making you smarter about Charlotte. Today's podcast is a webinar that the Charlotte Ledger held in partnership with OrthoCarolina on August 20th, 2025. It's on the topic of muscle longevity and the importance of maintaining muscle health and strength as we age. There are a lot of health benefits to doing that, and we examine that topic a little closer. It's part 3 of a Charlotte Ledger and OrthoCarolina series called Move Well, Live Well. Let's get right into it. Our guest today is Dr. Robert Morgan. Dr. Morgan earned his medical degree from the Medical University of South Carolina in 2003. He completed his residency at Carolina's Medical Center in 2008, and he pursued a sports medicine fellowship training at OrthoCarolina in 2009. He's board certified in both orthopedic surgery and sports medicine, and he has over 2 decades of expertise treating shoulder, elbow, and knee injuries. Dr. Morgan serves as team physician for Davidson College Athletics, and he has supported numerous high school and professional teams in the region. Dr. Morgan, thanks for joining us.
Tony, thanks for having me.
Well, we look forward to the discussion. I think it's going to be a good discussion on this topic of muscle longevity, how we maintain muscle health and strength as we age. I mean, by definition, none of us are as young as we used to be. And so, your body changes as you get older. We want to sort of explore that and see what we can do as it relates to muscle health. Let's just start with a basic question. What do we mean when we talk about muscle longevity, and why is it such a critical part of aging well?
Well, I think it's not about looking good at the beach as we get middle age and through our retirement years. We have a mental picture of being young, what we think muscle mass and fitness is, and we're thinking big biceps, nice pec muscles, washboard abs. And as we approach middle age and senior years, that perception needs to change about what is healthy and what is needed. The biggest thing to do in middle age for strength and muscle mass is so you can continue to do the activities you want to do with your children, activities y'all want to do as a family and and with grandchildren. And then as we get into the retirement age, it's still important to maintain muscle mass, one, to enjoy life and do fun things in these golden years, but then also to maintain our independence, be able to live at home, take care of ourselves and other activities.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit. I mean, how do muscles change as you age? I mean, is there an age where they just start dropping off a cliff? I mean, what does the aging process look like as it relates to muscles?
It's a little slow, but we'll all notice some changes once we kind of get that middle age, around age 40. And that's when our metabolism starts to change. That's when a lot of people, if they don't maintain their fitness, will start putting that 1 pound on a year problem type deal. And then we also our body loses the ability to build or maintain muscle. So we actually start losing muscle mass, and in the process can start gaining fat.
So is it a matter of exercising more? I mean, I can tell you anecdotally, I'm in my 50s, and it's definitely true that my metabolism is not like it was in my 20s when I felt like I could eat a couple hamburgers and fries and whatever, and see basically no evidence that it was putting on weight. And now, you fill up a lot quicker when you're eating. I mean, what does that look like? I mean, how does that play out?
Well, I think the biggest thing as we age, what we'll all find out once everybody that's 40 and older, like myself, is you can't exercise to the level and the endurance that you used to in your 20s. You just can't do the routine. So the number one thing is actually kind of once you get middle age, the saying is you can't out-exercise your diet. So diet is number one. And it's not something that has to be a fad diet or overthinking. It's just making conscious decisions on portions, foods, processed foods versus non-processed foods, but just starting with the diet is number one. And then just maintaining an active lifestyle is the second most important thing once we hit middle age.
Yeah, I mean, so what are some of the ways, if we're talking about preserving muscle mass, what are some of the ways that well, actually, let's back up a little bit. So what are some of the things, I mean, you alluded to them, and you talked about some of the different benefits. And obviously, I mean, there's a mobility benefit, being able to do the things you want to do as you get older. But what are some other things that correlate with having a good muscle mass?
Well, I think number one, obviously still being active and trying to set aside specific times throughout the week where you're going to do something active. And whether that's 15 minutes or 30 minutes, 5 days a week or 3 days a week, just carving out time in your day where you might just have little snips of 5 minutes when you're in the break room at work, or it could just mean parking further out at the grocery store parking lot and walking in. But the main one is just getting in a routine of maintaining your activity level. Now, if we break it a little bit more specifically, life gets busy, especially in middle age, because we have careers, work, family, kids. Sometimes we have older parents too, so we're burning it on both ends. So time gets really critical and vital, and a lot of us don't have time to necessarily go to a gym or a workout facility. But even going online and doing some sort of light resistant training at home 2 to 3 times a week is all you need, especially with just body weight activities. And you can go to online, search 15-minute home strengthening exercise program and just follow the video online and do those exercises at home. And that can really help you maintain your muscle mass if you get in the habit of doing that 2 to 3 times a week for anywhere from 15 minutes.
I mean, what are we talking about? Squats, push-ups, things like that?
Yeah, and even deductions of backward lunges, wall squats. Like you said, it can even be wall push-ups, starting out simple things like that. It can be planks where you're just holding a position. And the plank position can be beneficial along with some core and some simple low back exercises.
Yeah, is there a minimum? I mean, obviously, more is greater than less, I guess, probably to at least to a certain degree. Is it? I mean, you're saying 15 minutes a day. If you do 15 minutes a day, are you good? Or I mean, how would you describe that?
I think the biggest thing is obviously as we get middle aged and older, too much can be a bad thing. So once you get middle age, pain means stop. Pain doesn't mean work through it like when we're younger. I think the biggest thing, Tony, is just getting in a habit of getting on a schedule. And whether what life gives us at a certain time or phase, if it's 20 minutes, great. If it's 10 minutes one morning, great. Just get into the habit of doing it. And I think if we can do something 2 to 3 times a week, that would be the key. The other thing too, as we get older, the rest after doing a strengthening program or a strengthening day workout, it's important to take kind of the next day and let your muscles rest from the strength exercise. And on a day after a strength exercise, that might be something somebody might consider more of a cardiovascular type workout, whether that's a walk in the neighborhood, a bike ride, a simple pull kind of walking type stuff.
Are there any particular muscles we should be paying attention to? Obviously, walking, that's going to affect your legs. I mean, should we be, pumping iron? So, is it all of the above? I mean, what sort of things any particular muscle groups that are key?
Yeah, I think as we age, when we're young, we think of biceps and like you said, looking good at the beach. I think as we age, the lower body strength tends to become a little bit more important, especially that we can protect our joints and maintain our ability to go up and down stairs, rise up from a chair, get up off the floor when we're playing with children or grandchildren. So really focusing on some of the lower body stuff is important. And equally important would be working on our core abdominal strength and then also our low back strength. And doing the low back and your midsection abdominal exercises, that's something that can also be done at home with just body weight, no equipment needed. type.
Okay.
And those
do you want to
tend
get? Sorry, go ahead.
I would say those tend to focus, become a little bit more important than some of the upper body strength as we age.
Just because it has more to do with sort of being able to walk around, get up, go up and down stairs.
Be independent and keep being active and doing activities you want to do with your family.
Okay. I do want to get people's questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A. What about, I mean, is it possible, and I know you referenced people being busy. A lot of people always say, okay, I'm so busy. I don't have an hour to go to the gym or to go for a run or something like that every day. And I understand the importance of routine. Are there things that people can do as they're doing things around the house? I mean, is it, you're doing your Wordle in the morning, having a dumbbell in one arm? I mean, is there a way you can kind of cross? Are there any tips or tricks you might have?
Yeah, no, being efficient is key. One is just doing simple home type cleaning activities, getting a little ump in your step, vacuuming or cleaning, where you might put a little bit more movement instead of vacuuming, staying still, using your arm. We'll make it more into like a Zumba or a light dance where you're actually moving your feet. There are also people that are working from home now that are sitting down a lot. That'll start spending the day standing part of the time where they can move around. Simple things too, instead of taking the elevator, sometimes taking the stairs is a way to stay active. And again, we mentioned, at the store, parking a little bit further out from the parking lot. So we have to walk in and out further from the store can be another way just to get a quick little bit of some exercise in our day.
Yeah, it's sounding like you're saying that every little bit helps, and that's certainly true. And mentioning the standing up while you're working, I know one of the trends in offices, you see a lot of these flex desks now. Where people, it used to be, okay, you sit in the office chair. Now a lot of people are choosing to work standing up at least part of the time. So that's nice to see. Nowadays we also have the ability, many of us with smartphones, to capture the number of steps that we're doing each day. And I know that can be kind of a fun competition sometimes. Is there a minimum number of steps that people should have a day?
No, I think it's all a little bit different based off any arthritis or musculoskeletal injuries they have. I think it's just a good idea of whatever, if you could log on what kind of your average step per day has been over the last month, and then just start increasing it by, an extra 500 steps. Mm-hmm. And you try to make that 500 step increase be your goal for a couple weeks. See how your body responds to it. And if your body's doing well and your knees aren't hurting, then try to increase it a little bit more and gradually start building back up and trying to find ways during your days just to get an extra 20 or 50 steps here or there and see how your body responds.
Yeah, I find if you can make it kind of like a game, if you can kind of try to beat your own personal record or whatever it is, or whatever your average was for the previous month, that might be a good way to do it. And there's so many different ways to do it. I mean, we can measure so much now, I think, in terms of steps. And, you see like Strava, people going for runs, and they can see how they measured up against, the same run that they did, or against a buddy who did the same run or something. And so it makes it a little bit more like a little more engaging, a little more like a game. So if there are opportunities to do that sounds like a good plan, right?
Yeah, and it definitely allows patients to see the results, which kind of gets them hooked a little bit to wanting to continue on with this healthy lifestyle.
Right. I'd like to talk a little bit about the science of it. I know obviously we've talked about mobility and being able to do the things you want to do as you age, but what are some, and I know I think you referenced a few of the other connections, but I mean, what are some other benefits of keeping your muscles up in terms of, longevity or, heart disease or things like that?
Yeah, I think just maintaining muscle mass, one, will definitely promote longevity. And more importantly, it will promote quality longevity years, meaning I'm independent. I'm able to live alone. I'm able to do the activities I want to do as we age, meaning not having to give up recreational or lifestyle changes. I think the process of maintaining muscle mass, the exercises, the being conscious on diets, then also promotes healthy lifestyle in terms of lessening heart disease, lowering our body mass index or our body fat content, which then promotes improved kidney function, breathing functions, and lessens our chances of chronic disease.
And you've mentioned the importance of diet. I mean, is there anything, and I'm guessing it's sort of balanced diet, not as many processed foods, but are there any types of foods that people should be, avoiding or paying attention to? I mean, I'm thinking I have a teenage son, and there's a sort of a trend about, wanting to kind of bulk up, heavy on the protein, just chicken, basically, to the exclusion of all else. I mean, what about the nutritional side of this?
No, and it's still, as we age, Tony, it's still important to get an amount of protein in our body, type deal. And that's where, as we age, sometimes we don't get as much protein, or we try to watch what we eat. And naturally, by trying to eat healthy, it leads to us not getting enough protein. So maintaining a protein in our diet, whether that's 20 to 30 grams per meal, is extremely important, because protein is what builds muscles and maintains muscles. So simple things for protein are dairy products. So whether that's milk, cheeses, yogurt, nuts, beans, and then, like your son likes, the lean meat, fish and chicken type stuff, but maintaining an adequate level of protein is important. And it's hard for some people, especially as they age. And that's where some of the protein shakes, or whey protein powder, or a protein powder that you can add a scoop to your yogurt, or put a scoop in coffee or milk, is another way to make sure you're getting an adequate amount of protein daily to maintain your muscles.
Okay. Yeah, those sound like good tips. And then, anything in particular to avoid?
Just overindulgence in anything in general. Not going too heavy on just carbohydrates where you're not getting enough protein, and then obviously things like tobacco use and alcohol products, just using those to a minimal or moderate degree.
Yeah. What's the recommendation on alcohol intake these days?
I think it's going to be less than one drink a day, type deal. So one drink or less per day.
Got it. I know we've got a question here from Rusty. Rusty's asking, is there any legitimacy to using a sit ball / exercise ball when chained to the desk / computer?
Yeah, no, there definitely is. We have a lady that works in our office that uses one fairly religiously. And I think there is. I think it's like anything. It takes a while to get used to sitting on the ball behind a desk that long. So a lot of people that use the sit ball as their work desk kind of transition into it. So they maybe try it for 15 minutes every hour, and then use the regular office chair for 45 minutes, and then gradually build up to it. But the sit ball really, really helps maintaining good posture, and then also really works on stabilizing our core muscle strength of our abdomen, and also our low back exercises. So that is, again, another way to kill two birds with one stone. We're chained to the desk. What's a simple modification we can do to kind of help do a static muscle exercise to maintain muscle mass and stamina?
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Rusty, for the question. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat or the Q&A. We'll get those answered. We talked about nutrition. We talked about some, exercises. Are there any other habits like sleep or hydration that people overlook? I mean, how important are things like that?
Yeah, sleep's definitely one. And obviously that's a difficult problem to get enough sleep or adequate sleep for a lot of patients out there. And I think trying to make sure you get in a routine of sleeping and getting enough rest. The minimum's kind of that 7 hours of sleep per night. But rest is when our body recovers. And that's when our muscles recover from the day and from working out. That's where we can build back the muscles. So maintaining a healthy sleep schedule is important. And then obviously a lot of people are what we call chronically dehydrated, and they don't really know it. Where it's just making sure they're drinking water and fluids throughout the day. The easiest test, some people will measure the ounces in their cups that they use, but the easiest thing is making sure our urine is a light yellow or clear, and that's an easy. Another substitute, because some people aren't water drinkers, whether that's teas, some of the carbonated seltzers are key, or some of the low sugar hydration sports drinks can help with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. I know there's been a lot of emphasis on drinking water. A lot of people drink a lot of water, but yeah, if you can just keep hydrated, throughout the day, sort of build it in. I think that's definitely good advice. What if if you've been inactive for a while and you're like, gosh, I really should do something here, but I don't want to go too hard. First of all, is it ever too late to start? And second of all, how can you maybe ease in to start doing something if you've been doing very little?
So I think, as you know, it's never too late. And the important thing too is, like I said, as we age, it's important to start slow, type deal. I kind of joke every February or March, I have numerous patients that come in and they're like, hey, New Year's resolution hit. I wanted to exercise. And they automatically go back to, well, the last time I exercised 10 years ago, I was doing this. So they're like, I'm going to go back to doing this. And I'm like, well, we have 10,000 more miles on the body than we did 10 years ago. So that's not going to work. And they'll go hard and fast by working out 7 days a week. They're usually doing the same thing. So they'll be on the treadmill with it inclined to 7 degrees for 30 minutes, 7 days a week. And they're not alternating different type of activities. And after about 6 weeks of that, and being a middle-aged or senior, then we start flaring up arthritis and having problems like that. So I think the biggest thing is, as you get into exercise so you feel worked out, but you don't feel pain. Take a rest day the next day, see how your body recovers, and then get back and doing it the following day. And then just slowly start making progressions through it would be the key. And then also incorporate not doing the same exercise. So 2 days a week, do strengthening. Another 2 days a week and mix it up, incorporate flexibility and mobility training, whether that's just a stretching program online or some online yoga that you can do at home. And then on the other days, just incorporate some light cardiovascular, whether that's walking in the park or around the neighborhood.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like you're saying it's like the tortoise and the hare, right? Like slow and steady wins the race. But rather than go hard for 6 weeks in January and early February and then do nothing for 10 and a half months, is maybe just build in something that's sustainable, that you enjoy, and that isn't going to overstress your body, right?
Yeah, and the general thing, we're roughly the same age, Tony. So we're always will joke. I don't in the office. I don't usually use people's actual age. Right. I'll relate to them by model number. So you and I are both 1970, kind of models.
Yes.
And just like you would drive a car that was built in 75, you wouldn't drive it. You wouldn't drive a car or drive a 75 model car like you would a 2000 car.
Yeah.
Same thing with our bodies, right? As we get middle age, we want to think of motion, not necessarily the pounding, the impact. That's what we want to try to avoid. So we want to focus more on low impact mobility instead of less of the running, jumping, the stuff that can put, that can start causing symptoms and pain in some joints that we might start developing some early arthritis in.
Well, I'm all in favor of keeping those 1970s models still on the road and away from the scrap heap. So yeah, you'd take it out. You want to take it out and drive it around, keep it active, for sure. Okay, we got another question here. This is from Tucker. Says, I'm 88, female, recovering from heart failure. Muscles very much in need of strengthening. What's best for me?
I think the biggest thing as we start getting heart failure, some of the simple things to start out, Tucker, would be just even going online and getting just a simple, you can type in simple chair strengthening at home program. And they'll show you exercises you can do while sitting down that can both strengthen your upper body and lower body. And that's a simple way to start out. Doing that is just simple chair strengthening exercises. And as we start noticing some improvements, then we might be able to start transitioning to doing exercises where we're standing up and doing strengthening exercises. Sometimes too, our primary care team or our family physicians can order some just general physical therapy exercises where you start out with a physical therapist and let them kind of work through a home routine that you can do safely on your own.
Sounds like some good advice. Tucker, thank you for the question. If there are any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A or in the chat. Let's see, Rusty, another question coming forward here. It says, going back to the protein conversation, there are so many protein shakes that are full of chemicals. Are there any protein shakes that Dr. Morgan recommends? I am allergic to chocolate. I do not like vanilla, and it seems impossible to find shakes that are palatable.
Yeah, I think some of the ones, because that's a complaint people have, or sometimes the protein shakes kind of feel a little chalky in our mouth or too thick. I think some of the easiest ones is just getting some of a simple protein powder or a whey protein powder, WHEY protein powder, and then you can put the powder in whatever drink you like that taste, and it doesn't alter the taste that much. And that's usually the way to go. If we're not a big protein, just shake. It's quick and easy. Open it, just scoop in the protein powder in a drink you do already like. It would be a way to try.
Where can you just find those at the grocery store or their specialty stores?
Yeah,
where do you find those?
Specialty stores, nutritional stores, grocery stores have them. Some of our large, merchandise stores have them, and then also you can get them online through some of the online suppliers, so they're easy to get type deal.
Got it. All right, we're approaching the end of our time. I've got a couple more questions. If anybody has any other questions, go ahead, drop them in the chat or the Q&A. Well, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about muscles and aging?
Again, one, I think they feel like it's a lot of work, and they feel like to be successful in muscle strengthening as we age, they need to look like a 25-year-old, which is not true. Again, there's a sweet spot of what you have available in your life. A little bit of exercise that's done in some sort of routine manner can make a huge difference to your life, not only now, Tony, but also in the future, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And I think the other thing too is just what is healthy. Looking healthy at 50 is a lot different than looking healthy at 25. And just having realistic expectations of what healthy. To me, as we get middle age, healthy means being able to do what you want to do, whether it's go hike with the family or you want to go water skiing. That's healthy to me. As we start to get senior age, I think healthy is still being able to do what you want to do, but more importantly, still be able to live independently.
Makes a lot of sense. What are people talking about in this industry? Are there any new research or new developments as it relates to muscle longevity that, when you go to conferences that your colleagues are talking about? Is there any hot new thing? Is there anything emerging?
No, I think the biggest thing is been some more of the apps for our phone, where there's a lot of really good programs that are tailored to low impact or middle aged or doing things at home. And just like we don't travel or leave without our cell phone, so it's always on us. These apps can be, you can time into the activity you want to do, the length of time, whether you only have 5 minutes or 30 minutes. If you're traveling, you can do the exercises in the hotel room. And I think that's been the biggest improvement, is just having the accessibility where you don't have to be tied to a gym or a gym membership. You don't have to be in town. You can do it on vacation. And you can alter the length of the workout by, one, what you want to do or what your body's feeling like that day. But number two is how much time you have to spend on it at that particular time.
Yeah, I would also point out, I don't know what your feeling is on this, but if you just even go into ChatGPT and you're like, I'm in a hotel room, I have 15 minutes, there's a chair, a bed, you describe what the situation is, it can often, and I know it's all sourced off the internet, so who knows, but if you say, give me 5 exercises I could do, some of that stuff, it's pretty adjustable, and it can make some suggestions. Again, I'm not recommending AI for everything, but I'm just saying there's ways you can kind of tailor things now and get answers on things that maybe you couldn't in the past. So.
And I think people are surprised how good of a workout you can get being in a hotel room with just a chair and no weights.
Right.
You can get a good workout.
Oh, sure. All right. One other question on these protein powders. Any protein powder brands or types that you recommend? All the ones I've seen, I haven't looked too hard, are huge in quantity.
Yeah, no, I think some that huge in quantity. Sometimes they have protein capsules, so more like a supplement that you can take, so you don't have to mix it in anything. Obviously, when we start getting in supplements, supplements in our country aren't regulated by the FDA like medicines are. And usually I ask, when you're looking for supplements, I'll tell my patients, try to go with a name brand if you've heard of them. But there are companies that are third-party independent testers that test the products that are in these supplements, whether it's a protein powder or a protein capsule. And those are the ones I usually recommend, type deal, or one that's been kind of third-party independent tested. But again, sometimes just taking a protein capsule supplement pill is a little bit easier than the protein powder.
And they did ask, are there any particular brands you recommend? I know you're not, I don't know how comfortable you are recommending particular brands, but do you have any that you would recommend?
I don't have any. I usually just tell patients, see what they cost and how easy you can get them. Like I said, I do ask if you can find one that's been, validated by what they call USP or NSF. Those are two independent testing companies that will, they have a contract with the company. They will test the product and verify what's in the pill or what's in the can or the box is actually what's on the label. And that's usually what I recommend.
Got it. Okay. One final closing question, big picture. If you could give people one piece of advice for keeping their muscles healthy for the long haul, what would it be?
I would say stay active by incorporating some light resistance, strength training, a cardiovascular program, and then also work on maintaining flexibility and mobility. And if we alternate those every day of the week, it'll really help with staying independent and being able to do activities you want to do as we age.
All right. Dr. Robert Morgan with OrthoCarolina, thank you very much. Great discussion.
Cool. Thanks, Tony.
That's a wrap. This episode of the Charlotte Ledger Podcast is produced by Lindsay Banks.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.